You're watching NFT Talk Photography with Brick Astley.
GM, welcome to NFT Talk Photography. I'm your host, Brick Astley. The purpose of this talk show is to highlight one-on-one photography on exchange art and to talk one-on-one NFT art. Today's guest uses real lasers, glass, and water to create stunning laser photography and art installations. LaserLewDude, exchange art, and I really appreciate your time being here to talk about your work. Thank you so much.
Yeah, dude, happy to be here. Been pumped for this for a while. Thank you.
Likewise, same here. I'm such a fan of your work. You're a multi-chain artist who just recently came over to Solana, came onto the Solana train and dropped some magnificent bombs on us. So before we get into your collection here, for anybody that's getting to meet you for the first time, can you give us a little bit of background? How did you get into laser photography? Was it the lasers or the photography first? And then what brought you to exchange art?
Dude, good question. So I am a laser hobbyist, is how I got into it. I got a urge to try to build my own lasers about 5 years ago. And so I taught myself how to do that and started building lasers. And for a while, it was like super high powered pointers, really dangerous ones, honestly. But after a while, I got more into the aspect of taking pictures. I thought they were so cool. I wanted to share with people, right? I wanted to capture this. I wanted to put it on my wall. And so I got more into the photography aspect. And as time wore on, I kind of shifted from building those high powered lasers to building more low powered lasers and collecting the glass and getting the right types of mirrors and equipment and building things so I could make these installations that I'm making now. So it all started with kind of just like a curiosity challenge if I could build a laser, because I've been into lasers for a while, but not until like you actually build one or build 15,000 of them are you like, down the rabbit hole and going at it. So the photography aspect really just kind of came naturally, just wanting to record what I'm building, what I'm seeing. So as far as what brought me to Solana, a couple different things. You, for one, showed multiple people, what you can do on this chain, how welcoming it was, how early it is, how the community was there, how fast it is, gasless. I mean, there's all these different things that go into it. So listening to artists like you going over there, artists like Paper Buddha, who also make the point of, not putting all your eggs in one basket. So while ETH is there, Tezos is there, been doing, decent on both of them, exploring new avenues is kind of the name of the game. I mean, this is all very new to almost everybody. I am kind of tech minded, so I like the back end kind of conversations about the chains, but just getting out there, the whole reason I got into NFTs was really for the exposure. And if I can get on a different chain that has different collectors, different communities, different artists that can see it and spread the work, then it's all gravy. More there.
I think that's a wonderful strategy, casting the wide net, going from the different chains. So tell me about your first laser. I want to know what goes into making a laser, like, because you kind of just oh, I just made this lasers, I had this curiosity of making lasers. How do you go about making your first lasers, and what were some of like the difficulties of doing that?
So the lasers I build are all diode based. There are several different types of lasers that you can build. Diodes are probably the easiest ones. So you have a small, tiny component. It's like the size of an LED, but it's a laser diode. And then you basically have to heat sink it so it doesn't get too hot. You have to drive it with the appropriate amount of power. So it needs a constant current, not a constant voltage, but a constant current. And then you need to put it in some sort of container. So a host is what you would call it. So in the instance of like the high powered pointers, they're flashlight hosts. So whether I would buy a flashlight off of Amazon and gut it and use it, or go to there's actual places that sell kits for people like myself and other laser enthusiasts, that is like, here's a flashlight host, it comes with a heat sink, comes with these other things, then you just have to like get the diode in there and press it and set the current and all that jazz. So the first ones I built were from taking apart DVD burners. So the community I got into, it's laserpointerforums.com, just if you're curious. But that's how it started as a hobbyist. So before you could really source these different diodes directly from the manufacturer, you're sourcing the diodes from other places, and DVD burners, Blu-ray burners, newer projectors that use lasers for their backing light is a great source. So people would take the arrays out of that and then take the diodes and then sell those diodes. So it's kind of a mix. The first one I built didn't work. A lot of them didn't work. These diodes are very, very sensitive, even to like static electricity, to where if you overdrive it or if it gets too hot, burns out, it basically becomes an LED. It might still give off a little bit of light, but it's not going to laze. It's not going to make a beam. You're not going to be able to do anything with it. So that happens a lot when you're just learning on what you're doing. So a lot of broken diodes that just become useless. And just to kind of scare you a little bit, like as time went on, I'm sourcing bigger, more powerful diodes, more rare diodes, a lot of them off eBay. And I have purchased diodes for $100 and burnt them out, became useless, to go back and buy another one because I had to like accomplish this, right? It's kind of like I set out to make this laser. So you got to be careful, and it can get pricey if you don't know what you're doing. So if you are starting out, definitely start out with small, cheap diodes because you're gonna burn them out pretty fast.
So I see you were getting used to the Ethereum gas fees, burning them out before jumping on Ethereum. Then
essentially, yes, that was about just trying to throw money into the wind. Yeah.
So you came over to Solana and exchange art. I want to talk about your collection, Radiance. The collection is called Radiance. Can you talk to me? Your Genesis piece here on Solana was Blessed with Zest. Can you talk to me about that setup and how this came to be? I see you got a bunch of different mirrors. Do certain mirrors or glass matter when you're creating these setups?
Definitely. So all the mirrors that I use are first surface mirrors. So the actual reflective surface on like a standard bathroom mirror is actually on the back side of the glass. So you're looking through the glass and then the reflective surface, and you're looking back at yourself. You can tell if you like put a pen or a pencil or an item like up to the glass where there's a gap between the actual item and the reflection, right? When you're shooting a laser beam at that type of mirror, you get a reflection off of that glass surface. It then penetrates the glass and you get a reflection off the back surface as well. So you get this ghosted beam. You actually get two beams coming out. Not ideal if you're trying to make something, you know, that looks like what I've got here. So I had to source these mirrors. Most of them come from rear projection TVs that have been cannibalized. And then the mirror comes out and it's huge. And that's actually what I use on the surface, is one huge giant mirror. But a lot of the other ones I source from people who have cut up those mirrors into smaller pieces. These particular ones in Blessed with Zest came off of eBay, and they are literally about this size. And I've heard rumors that they might be periscope mirrors because of the shape that they're in. So anyway, I bought like a lot of those. I say lot, like not like a whole lot, but a set or a lot. Well, hello, Maeve. And use them here. So I taped two together to make a little teepee. I had this vision in my mind of them setting kind of, you know, side by side. And then the real thing I was trying to go after was actually what it's reflecting. So that side board or that side surface where I have different lights, you know, set up there, what you can see off of there, was kind of the initial concept, was doing some sort of like some passive work. So not shining a beam at these lasers. There's no beams hitting these lasers, but shining the laser at something else, then looking off of the mirror, and then the rest of it kind of just filled in afterwards.
We got this other one over here, Accumulate. It's your most recent auction. Can you talk to me about that one? It kind of almost, I really love this piece too. It almost, I don't want to say like my thoughts on it, but it reminds me of the Death Star almost, with like the lasers like focusing into the one spot and then zooming out. It just,
yes. Dude, so because of that, and because of that specific kind of reaction that I had from multiple people to the Death Star, I almost named it something along those lines, like Planet Destroyer. The type of crystals that create the beams in the Death Star, I had to look it up. It's like a Kyber crystal. I'm pretty sure that's made up. So I was going to name it something around Kyber beams, but ended up going with Accumulate. So accumulating all those beams. So of course the beam is actually coming in and then splitting. But in our minds, in the Death Star minds, it's doing the opposite, where it's accumulating and coming out. So that's where the name came from. But that setup was really a challenge for me in the way of keeping things simple. You look at the other two pieces, there's a lot going on. And I just need to basically pull myself back a lot of times and to do more simplistic types of setups. Honestly, when I did my first drop on my own contract, I minted a lot of older things as well as some newer stuff. And then the older stuff actually went faster. It's exciting and clean to see, lasers set up in a manner that you haven't seen. And I think keeping it simple, especially if this is the first time you've seen my work, actually goes a little bit further than seeing the kind of mess of colors or explosion, the stuff that's behind me right now. I like that. I kind of like the chaos. It's controlled chaos. Like if you look at the details, like it takes a lot of time to try to get it the way it is. But you look at something that's a very simple setup, and you don't have to look for those details to see, what's going on. So I'm kind of pushing myself to be more minimalistic in a lot of ways. And this is a great example. Like I set out to do this, started out even without the magenta beams coming back. It was just that one simple thing. But I obviously added those in there for effect. So that's just what happens. It is a challenge for me though.
No, I love it. Keeping it simple. It's elegant in its own way, and it speaks so loud. Just with, you got the magenta beams and then the other lasers accumulating right there. Very beautiful work, very fantastic work. I can't wait till I get to add a LaserLewDude to my collection. I'm definitely looking forward to that. So do you have a set day or time that you release these? How are you releasing? Are you doing it buy now? Are you doing auction, or a mix of both?
Yeah. So the one piece there that was for buy now actually did not get a bid a couple weeks ago. So I took it and listed it buy now. Instead of burning it off. I think it's a cool piece, and I want it to be there. And if somebody comes across and wants it, then that's great. I am trying the auctions, start relatively low and hopefully try to build up a little bit of a collector base. I prefer to just do a buy it now. Honestly, I know like what I think it's worth and what I want to bring in. So I would do that, but honestly, right now, and especially the way the market's going, I have no problem, doing some auctions and just trying to get some eyes on it, pushing that one piece for 24 hours while it's up, and hopefully get somebody new to step in and bid. So.
Well, I can't wait for more LaserLewDude auctions. Are they, what day, do you just do them sporadically, or what day are you doing the auctions?
It's another thing I have trouble with, is not like minting something every day. So right now the focus is mint and list on Saturday and let the auction run for 24 hours. So ending, Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening is typically the goal.
So on a Saturdays with LaserLewDude and his real fucking lasers.
That's right.
Definitely got to get on them. Again, thank you so much for your time. Do you have any final parting thoughts, or any final parting thoughts for our viewers on here?
No, not really. I'm fucking stoked you had me on, dude. I'm glad to be on the new chain. Exchange.art's been like super cool about getting me set up and getting rolling. I guess the final thought I'm saying is, if you haven't made it over to Solana, is give it a shot. Super easy to set up, Phantom Wallet, and check out a place like exchange.art. There are new artists going on there like myself who are starting these auctions low, and you can get some super steals, including the one I got of yours, man. It was a fucking steal. So get in early now, because that shit's not going to be cheap forever. And I'll see you on exchange, man. That's how it's going to go down.
With that being said, well, that's a wonderful note to end it on. Be kind to yourselves, be kind to others, be kind to Mother Earth. Take a little bit of moment to your day to go out and go pick up some trash, do some in real life cleanup, because without Mother Earth, without our purified waterways, none of this crypto, none of the fiat, none of the NFTs will matter. With that being said, always GM.